What's up? We're back. Brand new interview. This time I got the homeboy Con with me. What's going on, bro?
What's happening, brother? Thanks for coming through.
Yeah, anytime, man. All right. Homeboy Con here has been doing music for a cool minute. He has a new tape out with Nexus. And first thing I want to know, bro, is how did you get into the music?
How'd I get into music? Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, dog.
Well, shoot. I guess I'll just tell you how I've gotten to rap in particular. Because I used to always like produce beats and stuff like that on my computer. And I'd be chilling at home. You know, I got Indian parents, so they didn't let me go outside a lot, you know, go out too much. I mean, I did, you know, as I got older, but you know, when I didn't want to piss them off, basically, I'd spend time in my room, just spend time making beats and such. And then in high school, I got into rapping because, I mean, I'd always listen to rap music, I had time with my friends every day, you know, after school and whatnot, and I was like, yo, let's not waste our time. Let's practice doing something, you know? Let's be productive. And I was like, why don't we just mess around and rap? So I started freestyling just like for fun, you know?
Yeah.
And through freestyling, I felt like I kind of stumbled into like something that was really fun and engaging and like just amazing. It was like a new feeling, you know what I'm saying? So I felt like it was really valuable because of the moments that we had and the things that we talk about and whatnot, even when it was bullshit, you know? So that's kind of how I got into rapping. That was back in high school.
That's cool, man. And your rap name, how'd you come with that? Is it part of your actual name, or is it like, you know, something you came up with?
Yeah, Khan is actually part of my last name, but I came up with it not from rapping initially. It was because I wanted to do some graffiti. So when I started doing graffiti, I came up with, you know, like 4 letters, and I was like, well, it's part of my last name, and like I like the meaning of it. I was also bumping a lot of Andre Nicotina at the time. Okay. So it was a culmination of all those things.
And what did it mean?
It means king, basically.
King. Okay.
It's kind of like beyond that title, though. It's kind of like, you know, like emperor, like king of the world type of shit.
What separates you from other artists?
I would say like when I make my music, I try to rap about things that you wouldn't really expect from a rapper. You know, I still do touch on themes that you might hear in a typical like hip hop track, but I try to talk about things in a way that you might not expect, you know, and try to get intellectual on the track too. I really like to do that.
So, what motivates your style?
Definitely a lot of influences, you know, from underground hip hop, all kinds of music, to East Coast music, East Coast hip hop, but a lot of local underground. You know, let me just throw some names out, you know, like Hieroglyphics, Souls of Mischief, Board Stiff out of San Francisco, you know, also like all that old school bass stuff, that hypey stuff, we were bumping that back then too, you know, and that's where a lot of my influences come from. But in particular, it was rappers like Del the Funky Homo Sapien, and like Mr. Liff. I don't know if you know who that is. But certain cats that they're really unique because they just rap about, like I said, not that typical hip hop stuff. Just like they get weird with it, and it made me feel like maybe I could try to do stuff like that too, you know? I don't have to necessarily rap about being a gangster.
Oh yeah, that's always like the little like trap people like put themselves in, like, oh, I have to rap about this because what's, you know, popular, this, you know.
Yeah.
Because not everyone's a gangster, so.
Right, exactly. So I feel like underground hip hop was definitely a space for all kinds of different people to start doing hip hop. And I don't know, like around the time I started rapping, like, believe it or not a lot of people around me were rapping. Like, nowadays it's hard to be in a room and not have someone be, you know, there's always a rapper wherever you go, like in every neighborhood, right? But I don't know, back then, yeah, it wasn't so many people. So it was inspiring. For me, I was inspired by artists that were like doing weird stuff, because I was like, whatever, anyone can rap. And I firmly believe that.
Hell yeah. What do you say hip hop means to you?
Hip hop to me is it's the 4 elements and more. There's more elements than that, but it's about practicing those things and also respecting the culture and community that originated hip hop. And it's a revolutionary force, man, like to get people of all backgrounds connected, to have a good time.
What do you hope to accomplish in your music?
That's a big question. What do I hope to accomplish?
Yeah. What's your main goal?
That's an important question, man, but I kind of right now feel like I'm just letting it grow the way it's growing organically, and it's going in good places. That's how I feel about it. Like, right now I'm having some opportunities to work with some artists who I really look up to, who I would have never thought I could work with. And so I can't say any names right now, but it's pretty exciting, and I see it taking me to a place where hopefully I could, tour around, make touring regular, and sell my music, and just kind of, build something with that, build more.
And I noticed a lot in your music, you talk on a lot of like political topics, very like woke topics. Do you feel like you hold yourself a responsibility to bring to light those issues, or do you think it's just you're doing your own service as a hip hop artist in general to do that? Is it personal, or do you just like?
I think that it's a little bit of both, I guess. I think first and foremost, I just think that it's important to use the platform in a responsible way, and hold yourself accountable. And I feel that way about just, being an American. I feel like there's certain things we need to talk about, and discuss and think about. And so, it's important. I think that music is an important way to influence people, especially the next generation. I was always influenced by what I listened to, and it would always help me think about the world differently. So I just want to help people think about the world more critically, basically.
And given your Indian background, how much of that influences your music?
That's a good question. Personally, I feel like I have a complicated relationship with my own like ethnicity and my own background. Part of that is being first generation and having to like kind of decide, what that means to be Indian American. So that being said, like my music doesn't always have a lot of direct, reference to being Indian or is explicitly Indian, but because it does come from me, who is like an Indian MC in this day and age, it's an Indian rap either way, you feel me? You know what I mean? It's just part of like where I'm from. So
nice. And do you keep up with any like Indian artists out there, like maybe like Punjab MC or anybody?
There's not a ton that I really keep up with, but I know that in India especially, there's a lot of hip hop booming. Like there's not a lot of, and even right now there's some Indian artists coming up. I don't know, for me growing up, I never thought ever that an Indian person could be in the spotlight of music or hip hop in America. But we got like Nav. I mean, I'm not really into that style of music, but like to me that's just kind of a mind trip to see that he's coming up that big. But like more closer to home though, like Haji Springer was someone who kind of broke ground there, and I got respect for him. He's doing very well with his career. Actually in India, a lot of his music is coming out in India right now. He's working with artists. There's this cat's like Bohemia. There's this dude named Bohemia. He's like killing it out there, and like I've heard his stuff, and it's in Hindi mostly. So it's real like Indian rap. A lot of this rap is in Hindi, and I don't understand Hindi as fluently as I probably should, or as I could. But from what I do understand, his music is deep, man. It's really deep. So it's really cool to see that. being a popular thing. It's like pop music, but it's
that's cool, and it does make you feel proud, right, to see that, or
a little bit, yeah. But at the same time, I don't feel like I'm in their field. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I don't feel like they necessarily represent me. I just think it's cool that hip hop is happening in India.
yeah,
I still like consider myself an American artist first and foremost, you know, and because that's what influences me.
yeah.
But it's pretty cool to see that going down in India for real.
Yeah, definitely. Tell me your top 5 favorite rappers of all time.
It's hard to say top 5 because I always look at favorites as like, it's just hard because everything is, hip hop is so different everywhere you go. I always think of it as like region of the map or whatever, the sound.
If you can come up with just a name on the fly right now, like
Man, I would say like Bored Stiff, Mr. Lift, man, very influential for me. Rakim, that's coming up right now just for me. Cormega, that cat, dude. Yeah. What was that, 4?
That's 4. Need one last one. It's always the hardest question. The hardest one to choose. It's not to say that you don't like anyone else, it's just that these are just the ones I like right now in top 5. Because they always change anyway.
That's true. You know what? I'm gonna say this. 1 a.m.
1 a.m.
1 a.m.
You heard it here first, man. No, she's ill.
For real, like I listen to 1 a.m.'s music and it's inspiring. I'm just like, wow, you know, it's an artist who's putting their full self out there. It's very well done. It's very well done. And you can get lost in her music. Like if you just pop in a CD and listen to her album, you get into it. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So that's pretty cool.
What's up? All right. Now tell me how you hooked up with Nexus.
Nexus, man, I met him at this house that we used to live at called Casa de Kennedy.
Okay.
And before I even moved in there, he was living there, and I went there to kick it there a couple of times, and we met upstairs, and we were like in a freestyle cipher. So I literally met him over rapping, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can meet your rap homie and shit.
Pretty much, yeah. And then when I moved in, he was always a homie. We were just always kicking it and talking hip hop and ciphering and actually like the first week I moved into Casa de Kennedy, which is a housing co-op of mostly artists and like people who were, you know, social activists in one way or another.
All right.
I'm not really into all these labels, but it just helps to explain, you know, what was going down at the house. But they knocked on my bedroom door and they're like, "Yo, we're about to go." It was Nexus and my homie El Siete. They were like, "We're about to go check out this turntable setup that this dude's selling, and we don't know too much about it, bro. Do you know anything?" And I was like, "Yeah, I know a thing or two. Like, you know, like if you want me to come through with you guys and check out these turntables." So we went to this little house in SoCal, in Santa Cruz, like up in the hill a little bit. And this dude, he was like giving up his material possessions to become a Buddhist. And like, he was just he was a mad DJ, like cutting and scratching everything. He had some Stanton turntables and a mixer, and he had like hella vinyls. And a sound setup and everything, and he was letting it go for the cheap. And I was like, "Yo, this is a sweet deal. Y'all have to pick this up."
Yeah.
And so basically, we copped these turntables and we took it home and helped him set it up, and we just started like cutting and scratching and just chilling and spinning turntables like all day, every day. It was just set up in the living room, you know. So that was some of my first memories of like kicking it with Nexus, basically.
Dope. And how did you guys get into making the Dead Kennedy?
The Dead Kennedy tape?
Yeah.
Well, this cat Eli from, he goes by Kai actually. He
shout out to Kai.
Yeah, shout out Kai, man. You gotta check him out. Dope beats, lo-fi stuff, and just hip hop is what it is. But yeah, he hits me up and is like, "Yo, I got some beats." He sends me some beats, and I had him for a while, and then started talking to Nexus about maybe doing an EP with him, because we dropped a 1 track on my first EP, Occupied EP. Make sure you check out the Occupied EP, 6-track EP. Nexus featured on the first track. That's the instrumental we have on, actually. And man, like when we would perform it, people were just telling us, "Yo, you guys gotta get more music going because you sound dope together." Yeah. And so we took that feedback from people, and I knew we needed to make an album. And I had all these beats from Kai. So I hit up Nexus, and we actually applied for funds with this foundation called the Loud Foundation. Shout out to Lou, who put that together. She's a really great artist and a supporter of the arts, kind of a philanthropist basically. And she helped fund that project, so it kind of like put our nose to the grind. We were like, yo, we got funds, and there's kind of a deadline too. I mean, you know, a rough calendar, because we had to write a grant to get the project, so we had to set some parameters. And so it's kind of our first time like working on an album that was funded and having deadlines, and it just felt really professional. And it ended up being, after we wrote it, we looked at it, we took a step back, and we're like, this is a lot of our reflections on living in that house, living at Casa de Kennedy, and going through all the crazy stuff we went through at that house, and all the amazing things that we did.
Alright, so which artist would you like to work with that you haven't worked with already? Is there anyone you have your eye on to like work with?
It'd be cool to collaborate with like anybody from Hieroglyphics. I think. I wasn't gonna say that, but then that just popped in my head. Maybe anybody from Hieroglyphics. Yeah.
What do you think makes a whack artist, and what makes whack music? I know music is subjective, but in your opinion, what do you think makes a whack artist or music?
I don't like when artists are just like not being creative. I feel musically, like they just do really repetitive stuff.
Yeah.
I think music nowadays in general is really overproduced. I don't really like all the overproduction that I hear in pop music. To me, that makes it whack.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. What makes music whack? Like, yeah, if you're not being creative, I don't want to even hear it, you know? Because I don't really care who you are or whatever. I mean, I do for a lot of music, but at the same time, it's like, I judge people in their art separately too, you know what I'm saying? There is a lot of overlap, but for the most part,
it's just like,
I try and see the art for the art too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So.
Let's say someone like a Kanye.
Yeah, see, that's a perfect example. Kanye, where like I respected in the past tense.
Yeah, I respected
him for his production and everything, but it's hard for me to like get the new album or even listen to the new album that he did with Nas.
It's hard to separate it too.
Yeah, because I'm like, no, I'm not interested in supporting that. There's so many other people I need to lend my energy to.
Exactly. Yeah, because you just fitting into that negative is going to bring out more negative, and it's going to hurt the culture more.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, yeah, it's disappointing, but that's what happens sometimes. Yeah.
So, you got any new projects in the works right now?
Definitely. I got my next solo album I'm working on.
What's that one called?
It's gonna be called Code Switching.
Code Switching.
And so far it's like 9 tracks. It might be more or less when it drops. But there's gonna be some exciting new features. Really dope producers. If you like dope beats and just dope lyrics, I think you'll dig it. And it's a little bit different from anything that I've dropped before. So I feel like it's me more getting into my vibe. Because my other 2 EPs I dropped, both of them were produced by like one producer each, so they have that sound, you know, like Kai produced Dead Kennedy Tape, it's got Kai's sound. Occupied produced by Ghost Hour. It's got Ghost Hour's kind of, you know, vibe to it. But with this project, I'm able to pick and pull from all the artists I've worked with, and including Kai, and you know, really lay out my own sound.
Okay.
And it's gonna be laid back. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be fun, and I hope people check it out.
Good shit. What's your opinion on artists who like make like really short 2-minute songs nowadays, or really short projects compared to back in the day where usually the length is like 16 to 18 to be a complete album, you know, having 3 to 4 minute songs compared to just 2?
Good question, man. Well, there's two things I feel about it. One of them is like, clearly people's attention spans are shrinking, and that's why this is happening. And if you don't agree with me, believe me, I've been working with youth for like 8 years, and I can already see the difference in how these kids now, the same age in 2013, were different because the level of technology they're exposed to is changing. So like, kids nowadays are they're a little different. And yeah, the attention span is shrinking, y'all. So I think that's kind of problematic. But on the other hand, like, I have been, even like, especially even with the Dead Kennedy tape, I've been playing around with dropping shorter tracks myself. And to a certain degree, you do have to accommodate the people's ear and like what they want to hear.
Do you feel you have to though, or do you feel like you just want to like?
I feel I want. I don't even feel I want to. I feel like it's just how the process ends up. Sometimes it's like, maybe it's a reflection of me and the amount of time that I'm able to have to work on this music, because it's not my full-time grind. You feel me? So sometimes like, that is what I'm gonna produce, like a 2-minute song or a minute and a half, just a long verse maybe. And I'm not like an established artist, so that's just content for me to throw out there and just see what sticks. You feel me? Like,
do you see it as a negative thing or a positive thing?
It has both qualities to it. There's positives to it, and there's drawbacks. It's not gonna stop me from dropping a track that's like 5 minutes long. And I would like to do that. I feel like, I think that it's true though. People don't really want to listen to the whole thing. And you know, back in the day, cats like would drop a 5-minute long, 6-minute long song.
You have like stories like, you know, in More Techniques, that's the devil.
Oh, that was,
you know what I mean? Like,
long, right?
You look forward to his long songs, but they're always the most like, you know, captivating and stuff. You know what I mean? I don't know if that was like nowadays, where, you know, make a 7-minute song, but they really listen to the whole thing. You know?
With Dance with the Devil, you definitely were like waiting for the next verse every time a verse ended, and you were like, oh my god, like, where's this shit going? That's crazy. I never thought about it like that.
I guess it has to do with the fact that what you're saying has to captivate you. If you make it interesting in the verse, they're gonna be engaged. If you're just rapping just for the sake of rapping, they're gonna be like, okay, yeah, I get it, you rap, what the fuck?
Well, that's the thing, like, that's what I kind of mean by the ear. Like, a lot of people aren't really trying to hear for that anymore either. I feel like people just want to hear something catchy, and then it's gone.
And on to the next.
Not all people, obviously. There's a lot of people who listen to dope music out there. But in general, the change.
That's what's up. Anything else you want to add to the people out there at all?
Shoot. I just want to add, well, thank you, brother. I appreciate your time, G. Thanks for coming by. I want to add, you know, shout-outs, just quick shout-outs, you know, to the crew. Shout-out to Nexus, of course, Ghost Hour, Kai, 1 AM, Alwa Gordon, Dope Poet Love, just everybody. You know, if I forgot you, my bad. You know I got you in mind. Shout out to everybody who supports the music, and thanks for bumping hip hop. And look out for Code Switching coming out soon enough.
Good shit, bro. Alright guys, it's going to be a wrap for the interview. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to always see new videos from me. Make sure you hit that little annotation, the little bell, so you can always get a notification from me. Check out Khan, description down below, all social medias, and we're out this bitch.
Peace.